Welcome to This Explainer. If you're an independent artist, a producer, or honestly just someone fascinated by the wild, rapid evolution of the music industry right now, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the source material to really unpack the 2026 music landscape. We're going to look at the hard data to see what's actually working today across trends, tech, and tactics. So, let's get right into it. 50,000. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the staggering amount of fully AI-generated tracks being submitted to Deezer every single day. Nearly half of all submissions to their platform are now machine-made. And you know what this proves, fundamentally? It proves that making the actual song, the physical audio file itself, is now the absolute cheapest part of the whole process. The real human work, the true value, well, that lives everywhere else now. So, it really begs the question, right? Are you ready for the 2026 music wave? Because with algorithms constantly shifting and AI literally flooding the market, your success doesn't just depend on raw talent anymore. It depends entirely on mastering the new creator's journey. And that journey starts with understanding exactly how music actually sounds today, what's genuinely capturing attention, and how you can ride these massive shifts instead of, well, getting crushed by them. Section 1. The sound of 2026. Hyperfusion and maximalism. If we step into the studio today, it's pretty clear that genre boundaries haven't just blurred a little bit, they've been completely obliterated. For a long time, minimalism was everything, right? But in 2026, producers are aggressively leaning into maximalism. We're seeing tracks that smash together the cozy, nostalgic chill of lo-fi with the glitchy, high-energy chaos of hyperpop. It's this wild, everything-at-once approach where a song might kick off as an acoustic folk ballad and somehow end as a heavily distorted club anthem. Take Plug and Be, for example. It is the micro-genre of the moment. If you want to capture the current mainstream momentum, this is what's taking over. It perfectly balances these smooth, beautiful jazz chords played on a Dusty Rhodes piano with chest-hitting, stuttering trap hi-hats and 808s. It's incredibly atmospheric, it's super punchy, and it perfectly encapsulates that hyperfusion trend that is just dominating platforms right now. To actually stay ahead in this new sonic landscape, your toolkit needs a serious update. Here are your 2026 producer must-haves. You absolutely need granular synthesis for those weird, glitchy pads, and analog saturation to add personality and digital dirt to your pristine tracks. Why? Simply because listeners are craving organic textures. And here's a pro tip. Keep your melodic loops short, 4 to 8 bars max. Attention spans are shrinking fast, so you've got to switch your ideas up rapidly to keep the listener hooked. Moving on to Section 2, AI in 2026, Accelerator, not Artist. Okay, let's address the elephant in the studio. How do you actually use AI without losing your soul? Or, your legal rights? These generation tools are pulling in massive revenue. Suno alone is sitting at a $300 million annual run rate, but you have to choose the exact right one for your specific workflow. Suno is incredible for sketching out full ideas rapidly. Udio? That gives you much cleaner stem exports for your DAW and honestly has a much cleaner licensing story. 11 Labs completely dominates voiceover, and Stable Audio is your absolute go-to for sound design. And hey, if you thought this was just some fleeting indie trend, think again. The major labels are fully embracing this tech. We're seeing massive corporate partnerships like Warner Music Group teaming up with Suno and Universal striking major deals with Udio. They are actively creating these walled AI ecosystems, which definitively signals that generative music isn't a fad. It is foundational infrastructure going forward. But wait, before you get discouraged, check this out, -40%. Chartlex data from auditing literally millions of streams shows that fully AI-generated tracks have up to 40% lower save rates and significantly higher skip rates compared to human-recorded releases. Listeners can actually feel the difference. The algorithm sees people skipping and boom, the AI tracks just get buried. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Treat AI as a creative accelerator, not a replacement. Use it to do the heavy lifting of drafting, prototyping, and blasting through writer's block. But remember, the ultimate currency in 2026 is human connection. You have to bring your unique human performance, your lived experience, your actual voice, even your imperfections, back for that final mile if you want to build a true, lasting fan base. All right, Section 3, Mastering the New Algorithms. So you've made this incredible human-centric track, right? But now you have to promote it. And the game has completely changed. The days of throwing up a random 15-second clip and going viral, those are dead. Today's TikTok demands a brutal 70% completion rate for wide distribution. They are actively pushing longer 60 to 180-second videos just to compete with YouTube. Plus, TikTok is now essentially a primary search engine for Gen Z, which means your on-screen text and captions absolutely must be SEO optimized, non-negotiable. To actually survive this intense content grind without totally burning out, you need systems. Enter the shoot once method. First, shoot everything in 9:16 vertical. Second, record much longer, like 2-minute takes of you working or explaining your process. Third, keep the core content platform neutral. So don't specifically mention TikTok in a video you're also going to throw on Instagram. And finally, just tweak the final edits for each platform's specific culture. In 2026, efficiency is literal survival.
Which brings us to Section 4, the ethical streaming shift.
Okay, so your promotional content is finally popping off, but where do you actually send those fans so you can, pay your rent? The financial reality of 2026 is pretty stark. If you send a fan to Spotify, you make about 1/3 of a penny per stream through a system that heavily favors megastars. But if you send that exact same fan to Tidal, their user-centric model pays almost 4 times as much. And on a direct sales giant like Bandcamp, you keep 82 to 90% of the revenue. I mean, the math is just undeniable. And the absolute best part? The audience is finally waking up to this. Listeners are actively rejecting passive, AI-flooded editorial playlists. Fan behavior is evolving into genuine advocacy. Your audience actually cares where their money goes now. They want to know they're funding your studio time, not some tech CEO's side projects. And they will absolutely follow you to platforms that treat you fairly, if you just ask them to. Section 5. Building your microeconomy.
This huge shift in listener behavior points to the ultimate goal for creators today, establishing true digital sovereignty. We're seeing a massive split in how music is consumed. On one hand, you have algorithmic discovery. It's super passive, it's lean-back background noise, and it generates basically zero fan loyalty. On the other hand, you have community-driven discovery. This is active, lean-forward engagement happening in Discord servers, private fan clubs, and social radio. You've really got to stop praying for that random Spotify playlist placement and start actively cultivating your own secure community spaces.
Because of that, your email list and your SMS list are literally your most valuable assets today, period. Social media algorithms are increasingly pay to play, but by owning your data, you bypass the gatekeepers entirely. You can utilize tools that enable direct-to-consumer sales or even use your audience heat maps to book highly targeted micro tours in cities where you know exactly how many fans will actually show up to the gig. Industry analyst Josh Dalton hit the nail on the head when he said the industry is now an ecosystem. True independence isn't about isolating yourself and stubbornly doing every single thing alone. It's about owning the right things. It's about controlling your data, controlling your economics, and treating your fans like active, valued stakeholders in your journey. Which leaves us with this final thought. You now have the playbook, you've seen the data, and you know the tools. The era of the helpless, starving artist, that's over. So in this new ecosystem of 2026, what is your first step going to be to claim your digital sovereignty? Get out there, leverage the tech, bring your raw human authenticity, and build a world around your music that no algorithm can ever